Taoiseach, the Vincent de Paul are today reporting that they got 230,000 requests for help, 40% of which in 2022 were over energy costs. Now, while everybody is being hammered by the energy increases and the profiteering of energy companies, one cohort are even being worse hit because the inadequate electricity credits you've given people are not being given to them at all. And I got an email from one of them today in Enniskerry, but in the response from their own management company, it was made clear that probably thousands of apartment dwellers are in this situation, that your Energy Measures and Miscellaneous Provisions Act only covered meters with a DG1 or DG2 classification. But if you're on DG6, which multi-unit apartment dwellers are, thousands of them, you get zero, nothing. And you are facing bills of thousands, and you haven't even got the €200 credits, which in and of itself was inadequate. Are you going to do anything for these people, Taoiseach, because they are being absolutely fleeced by profiteering energy companies?
Deputy Taoiseach.
Good morning. I just want to thank the deputies once again for their questions. Deputy O'Riordan raised the issue of senior cycle or Leaving Cert reform, and just want to assure the House that we are committed to ensuring that the Leaving Cert is reformed and that it meets the needs of Irish students and broader Irish society and economy. Any system that doesn't evolve, no matter how highly regarded it is, will be overtaken by other countries where their system evolves to prepare students for the ever-changing modern world. For example, the amount of data created and consumed over the last decade has increased by 5,000% alone. Ireland has a knowledge-based economy which thrives on the high quality of our graduates and workforce. There have been reforms made to date. It's not the case that the Leaving Cert is the same exam that Deputy O'Riordan or I would have done. Between 2016 and 2020, for example, the NCCA undertook an extensive review of senior cycle programmes and vocational pathways to include transition year, the Leaving Cert Applied, Leaving Cert Vocational Programme and the Leaving Cert Established, as well as Project Maths. The review involved very broad research and consultation and was published in March last year. The three tenets of senior cycle reform are to empower students to meet the challenges of the 21st century, to enrich the student experience and build on what's already good in our current system, and to embed well-being and reduce student stress levels. The move of Paper 1 was intended as an interim measure to spread the assessment load and to reduce stress for students. It was intended that as many students as possible could feel some effect of the reform programme before the main reform programme is introduced. But the Minister has listened to concerns from teachers' unions, from students, from Conradh na Gaeilge and others about the impact of COVID-19 on this year's transition years in particular. Students sought clarity on the planning for the remodel papers, and despite this work being very advanced, student reps continue to have concerns. To bring clarity for all concerned and to allow more time for the introduction of a Paper 1 at the end of 5th year in Irish and English, the Minister has made her announcement, having briefed the Cabinet beforehand. In relation to the issue of dental waiting lists, I want to acknowledge that they can be very long. I know of many cases in my own constituency that would be similar to the one that the Deputy mentioned, and they are unacceptably long. There is an engagement between the Government and the Irish Dental Association at the moment. Additional funding has been provided in the budget for the DTTS, the Dental Service Treatment Fund, and we're keen to spend that money and deploy it, but we need to have an agreement with the dentists around that. And we are examining whether we can use the NTPF to pay for some children to go privately if that's the only way that they can get the dental care they need. I've seen Leanne, one of my favourite films. It is a particular portrayal, of course, of life in suburban Paris. I imagine there are other films as well that might give a more rounded view, but that's an aside. But we don't have any plans at the moment to organise any film screenings for staff, but do encourage staff to attend the Dublin Film Festival and see whichever film of their choice they think will find the most interesting. On the serious point, and it is a serious point, both Minister Richmond and Minister Cleary are working on changes to both company law and employment law with regard to insolvencies and workers' rights and redundancy and the interplay therein. I am familiar with some issues around the energy credit, particularly for people living in mobile homes and caravans. I'm not particularly familiar with the one around the DG6 meters, but I will speak to Minister Ryan about it. If all else fails, the way around this might be to use an exceptional needs payment and just make a payment of €600 to the people affected. Certainly the intention of the energy credit was that every household would receive a €600 discount from their bills. And if there are complications or anomalies, I'm keen to mop them up. Like, it is there for everyone, and I don't want to see people being left out.